No mai haere mai. It's the Huddy Hui. Find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. huddysports.co.nz. Now let's kōrero.
Kia ora, good evening and welcome to the Huddy Hui, episode 165, and it's a busy week of rugby in New Zealand, and of course there are two big games being played in Auckland this weekend. The more important one's the one that's played at 2 o'clock, 2:15 this Saturday at Eden Park. It's the National Under-85 final between high school Old Boys Light Bears and Porneki from Wellington. So there'll be a lot of people from Wellington cheering on Porneki, the first Wellington team to make the final of the National Under-85 competition. And of course, there is the test match as well, the record of Eden Park Fortress for the All Blacks. They're up against our Trans-Tasman rivals, Australia. And so that is an earlier kickoff at 5:30. So no doubt, a busy week of rugby in Auckland for all. But last Saturday, this young man who plays for Old Boys University in the Wellington Under-19s got the call-up to the Wellington Lions on Saturday against Southland. He was on the bench for the match day 23, and in the second half, he came on and made his debut. Only a year out of Rathkeale College, and so our guest, who I interviewed last night, Johnny Falloon, I sat down with him to talk about his debut and his rugby season in Wellington today. Our guest for the Hui tonight is Johnny Falloon. We're here with Wellington Lions debutant from the weekend, Johnny Falloon. Johnny, many thanks for coming on the Huddy Hui tonight. Let's talk about Saturday. Where did you find out that you were replacing Hugo Plummer in the match day 23 against Southland?
I found out on Thursday afternoon that there was a chance I might be playing and got asked to come in for the captain's run, and then found out before that started that I was on the bench.
And how did you feel waiting in the team dugout, waiting to see if you were going to be summoned to the field?
It was pretty nerve-wracking, just pacing up and down the side of the pitch, just trying to contain my thoughts and think about my role, but no, it was pretty cool.
Who welcomed you into the squad when Hugo went down during that captain's run?
It was, I guess we were in a huddle, and then Julian Xavier, he just announced it to the squad that I was going to be replacing Hugo.
Oh, that is fantastic. And what was it like running out in the second half? The ground announcer announced you had already been on the ground before you got onto the field.
Yeah, I was supposed to come on the 60th minute, but there was still play going on, so they just waited to the end of that. So I think it was about a minute later, but no, it was pretty cool to run on. Yeah, it was a very exciting moment.
And how did the team recognise your debut?
I think they thought it was pretty good. Made a couple all right tackles and clean rucks. Just did my role, and I think that was all they could really ask for.
The Wellington Lions have a bit of a social media presence. I believe Stanley Solomon spoke in the changing rooms on your behalf. What did he hand over to you for your debut?
I just handed over a tie with the Wellington Lions logo on the bottom of it.
Oh, that is fantastic. One of the other things is I do the timing at the Lions games. You had the largest and loudest support crew at Jerry Collins Stadium on Saturday. Was it great to have such awesome supporters?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Had my family and quite a few friends come watch the game, which was a pretty cool moment just because, yeah, no, it was pretty awesome.
What have you learnt from the other locks and loose forwards in the Lions squad since you've been part of the NPC program?
I've learnt heaps just around my role and line out and phase play. Lots of it's pretty good to be able to ask them questions and get tips, and they'll always help me and tell me where I need to be every time. So that's pretty good.
How did, of course, actually post the club season, you've been playing for the Wellington Under-19s. How have you found the Wellington Under-19 campaign?
Yeah, it was good. We had a few good games there. Tough loss versus Canterbury, but I think after that game we really found our feet and we built into a good Hurricanes region campaign and managed to get some good wins through that to win the competition and retain the shield.
What did you learn from that Canterbury game that was played at Rugby League Park?
I learned about, I guess, just what it's like playing against a very well-drilled team, and in the tough Wellington weather, how to adapt with calling line-outs and our phase play getting closer. And yeah,
Seems like you got your supporters in the background of all the tooting going on there, Johnny. Let's who looked after the Wellington under-19 forwards, and what did they bring that helped your game?
we had Otto Rash and Aidan Keynes. They were pretty good, obviously, Jubilee Cup winning coaches, so they've got their merit, and they were good. They made sure that we knew our roles and made sure that we brought the physicality each week.
And how was the competition in the squad between the locks and flankers?
It was pretty tough. The skill set between all the locks and flankers was really good, and it was every week. You had to be on to get that starting spot or on the bench. So it was good that we were all pushing each other and making sure that we were ready for the game on Saturday.
Bernie Upton is heavily involved in the Wellington Lions setup. He's previously played lock. What have you learnt from him in the time you've been in the Lions squad?
I've learnt heaps from Bernie. He's been a massive part around my development this year, and around the high performance system, and just nailing my drill and line out, and it's a big thing that he's been trying to get me to focus on, and yeah, it's been good.
What were the learnings for you from the Wellington under-19 campaign that you've taken into the Lions setup?
I guess just learning that when things aren't going well, just how to adapt, and I guess just took a lot of leadership from the 19s, and I guess seeing how like different leaders in the Lions system, how they lead, and it's good to learn off people like that.
Now, I believe that you actually hail from the Wairarapa Bush. How was it growing up in the Wairarapa Bush, and who was your junior club?
I was good. Yeah, I came off a farm and went to a country school, which was quite cool. So I think we had about 80 people at my school when I was in year 8, and I played for Gladstone Rugby Club.
The mighty Gladstone Rugby Club. Now, of course, let's talk about where you went to for high school. That was Rathkeale College, where you're a product of. How was your time there at Rathkeale?
Yeah, Rathkeale was cool. Boarded for 5 years, so got a good experience of the cool grounds with the rivers and the bush, and enjoyed playing rugby there for 5 years as well. Yeah, it's a great school.
How many games did you play for the first 15 at Rathkeale? And what was your most memorable game?
I think I played about 42 games, if I can remember correctly. And probably the most memorable game would be beating Wanganui Collegiate in the traditional fixture.
Let's talk about that traditional fixture. Rathkeale have a few of those. Wanganui is one of those. Let's talk about that one, because it seems to be the pinnacle for the college, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was our school's first time beating them since 1991, I think. So it was a pretty big milestone for the school to get the win over them for the first time in a long time. A few of the boys, their dads played in the game the last time they won it, so pretty cool achievement.
Massive achievement indeed, and a bit of legacy as well too. Rathkeale previously played in the Central North Island competition. What was it like playing in the CNI, and did you enjoy the travel?
Yeah, the CNI was good. Some pretty tough teams we came against, like Fielding High School and Lindisfarne and St. Paul's Collegiate. The travel was long, but it was cool. It was always nice getting a Friday off school to travel up north every now and then, so that was quite nice.
Yeah, exactly. What was your best moment playing in the CNI for you?
I have to say probably heading up to St. Peter's, Cambridge, and getting the win away against them.
Yeah, no,
last year.
Yeah, that's a tough assignment. That trip indeed to actually beat them there last year. That's a fantastic result. This year though, Rathkeale decided to leave the CNI and join the Wellington competition. Do you believe that was better for Rathkeale?
Yeah, I think both comps were good for first 15, and I think Rathkeale did well in the Wellington comp this year, so I believe it was a good decision for them to, I guess, grow the rugby at Rathkeale and bring back a bit of spirit to the first 15.
Exactly, and probably the travel and the cost of that is probably a big factor as well. But what's the rivalry like between you and Wairarapa College?
Yeah, there's quite a strong rivalry between the two schools. It's always a good traditional game against them. I think we played it 3 years and lost 3 years in a row, so never got to get the win over them, but saw they got it this year, which was good.
No, they did get it this year, indeed, in the competition as well. Who were some of the other players in the first 15 that you played alongside that have gone on to club footy and beyond?
I played in year 12 with Will Cole, who obviously did quite well for the New Zealand 20s this year. Yeah, that's probably one of the notable names. And then a couple others I played against that are OBU this year, which is quite cool as well.
Who were some of the key influences for you in the rugby program at Rathkeale?
I'd say Stacey Grant was a big influence for me. He was coach in 2022, and then he was always helping out in 2023 and 2024. He's got heaps of knowledge in the game, and he was a massive help for, I guess, our team in general, and especially myself as a player.
Also last year, you had the honour of being selected for the New Zealand Barbarians. How was that campaign, and what was this experience like pulling on the red jersey?
Yeah, I was originally selected for the Barbarians, but then actually got called up to the school squad late. So that was quite cool to play 3 games for New Zealand schools. Yeah.
In New Zealand schools environment, I would have learnt a lot from that, playing at a high level.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely elevated my game in the 16 days that we were assembled there. That was a great campaign, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Always ask certain questions to rugby players. What keeps you motivated when you're under pressure?
I guess I just love the game, and I love having a bit of a challenge. You don't always want it to be too easy because then you're not pushing yourself. So I think it's always good to have a bit of pressure going into a game.
You were part of the Hurricanes under-20s earlier this year. How was that team environment and the experience of the Super Rugby under-20s tournament in Taupo?
That was good. Yeah, we had some good leaders in that team, some good older boys that had done it the year before, so they brought some good energy, and we had a good campaign. It was about probably 5 or 6 weeks every weekend with a game, and then into the campaign, so that was good fun.
This year, you played for Old Boys University at Premier level. Why did you choose OBU as your club in Wellington?
I guess just I knew a few people there, and I've come to the uni this year, and I thought it'd be a good way to meet some people and play some good rugby. So they'd had a good few years, so I thought it was a good idea to try have a crack at the Prem team at OBU.
What are you studying at university?
I'm studying a Bachelor of Commerce.
And this season, when was your Premier debut for Old Boys University, and who was it against?
I debuted in round 1 versus Tawa.
What was that experience like of being, straight from secondary school rugby and throw it into the top club grade in Wellington? How did you find that?
It was definitely a big physical shift. I remember first carry got hit pretty hard, but it was good. It was a good jump, and it's enjoyable playing club rugby.
Now, this season for Old Boys University, they were champions last year, but it was a tough season, narrowly missing out on the Jubilee Cup second round. What did you learn about those games where you lost by the narrowest of margins?
I guess they all came down to big moments towards the end of the game, but also things that happened during the game that led us to losing in those moments at the end. So I think just being on for the whole 80 and just making sure that we capitalise on our opportunities every time.
And it was a young squad this year for Old Boys University with some big players moving on or stepping up to the next level. Signs the Billy Goats will be stronger in 2026.
Yeah, I think we've got a good future ahead of us. We had a pretty young team this year, and some boys away like Harry at NZ20s. So having him back for the year will be good. And everyone's pretty keen to rip into 2026.
What have you learnt from some of the older heads in the squad at Old Boys University that has helped your game?
I learned a lot from a lot of the older guys. I think just that experience and that physicality, they really brought me up and pushed me to be more physical in the games. And I think later on in the season, it really showed and it helped my game.
What has been your most memorable game for Old Boys University to date?
I would probably say our game versus Petone. Although we lost, it was a close game and it was a good one as well.
Besides New Zealand secondary schools, the Barbarians, what other teams have you made in your rugby career?
I guess Hurricanes under 18s and Wairarapa Bush under 18s and Hurricanes under 20s.
Have you found the rugby from the country compared to playing in the city?
It's definitely different. There's a lot more wind here, which makes it a bit harder. But no, it's good. I've enjoyed the rugby over here, and I think it's quite cool having a big competition with a lot of teams because it gives us a lot of games. I think played about 17 rounds of club rugby this year, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's a big season, long season indeed. A few questions to finish up. Who is the toughest player you have played against and why?
Toughest player. I'd probably say a big prop from the Australia under 18s. I got given a tip ball when he hooked my leg and smoked me.
Yeah, now you've got to be careful about those Australians, and in particular, this sad day as well, the All Blacks back at Fortress Eden Park against top of the table in the Rugby Championship, Australia. Of course, the All Blacks, we all know what happened in Wellington 2 weeks ago. Do you think they'll keep that record alive?
I think they will. I think they would have been hurting after last week, and I believe that they'll be able to regroup and put in a good performance on Saturday.
Who's been the best teammate you've played alongside?
I'd say probably my mate Finn O'Sullivan. He's been a pretty good teammate to play with at OBU and Wellington under 20s and Hurricanes under 20s at the start of this year.
Finn, we've also had on the Huddy Hui last year as well. He definitely likes to talk up his game. Who's the most annoying teammate you have played alongside?
I wouldn't say he's annoying, but I guess just probably sometimes Jake Lawson chats to the ref a bit and we get marched. But
those are halfbacks though, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, we had Jake on last week as well, so he loves a good yarn, no doubt. Is there one game where you have learnt the most about yourself as a player?
I guess I'd probably say my debut on the weekend. I think I guess it kind of just showed myself that if I just believe myself, I can do it and back myself to know my role and just try to execute my skill.
Now, of course, this weekend, the Lions travel up to New Plymouth to take on Taranaki. You are part of the squad again this weekend.
Yeah, it should be pretty cool to head up to Taranaki first away game, so it'll be a good experience.
Of course, it's a tough end for the Wellington Lions. So Taranaki and then Bay Plenty at home the following weekend. What is the main focus for the Lions for the last 2 weeks of the round robin of the NPC?
Our big focus is our 1%ers, nailing all our detail and just being physical and making sure that we don't back down to these teams and the must-win games. So, got to get it done.
Well, Johnny, it's been fantastic having you on the Hui tonight. All the best on the road trip up to New Plymouth and for the rest of the season with the Wellington Lions. And well done on your first year of rugby in the capital city.
Thank you very much.
That is our interview with Johnny Falloon, and always a great call up to get your debut to replace someone like Hugo Plummer, who's had a good season at the forwards for Wellington. It's a big ask, but he did very well, did Johnny Falloon. So congratulations to him. And he did inform me that he is in the 23 again for the Lions against Taranaki and New Plymouth this Saturday. That's a 2:05 kickoff. The Lions have released their team, and they still have Cole Preston starting at halfback. So that's a sign he's not going to be in Auckland this Saturday. So Wellington definitely need him. He made a good impact last week when he started against Southland. So the Lions, it's two rounds to go. They're currently sitting in 9th. Taranaki this Saturday, and then Bay of Plenty at home the following Saturday to close out the regular season. One would probably say they probably need to win one, but I think they probably need to win both to guarantee they can get into the 8. At the moment, though, a lot of it might depend on how well the Northland Taniwha go as well. It's a pretty tight competition. So maybe the Lions, the defending champions, might sneak into the 8, or they might miss out. So hopefully they can get the win against Taranaki, who gave Hawke's Bay a bit of a touch-up last Friday night. So it's going to be 2 hard games to go for the Wellington Lions. Of course, this Saturday is the National Under-85 final, and it's great to have a Wellington team in there. Pōneke, they defeated the University Slugs last week up in Auckland, and so they have to go back up there again. And High School Old Boys Light Bears from Christchurch are their opponents. And, of course, they're a very experienced team, coached by Jack Hyde and also Pat Cody. And they've been in that. This is their 3rd final in a row. They lost last year's against Pakuranga Panthers, who they beat in last week's semi-final down there at Bob Dean's Field in Christchurch. And then they won it in 2023, destroying the Takapuna Bombers at North Harbour Stadium. So they get to play at the Garden of Eden Park, 2:05 kickoff that one. So that will be an absolute doozy of a game. I'm really looking forward to watching that game. It's going to be spectacular. And also the test match at 5:30, the Bledisloe 1 at Eden Park as well. The All Blacks against Australia. And there's an All Black team under pressure after what was that second half in Wellington, where we got absolutely destroyed by the Springboks. There'll be plenty for Scott Robertson and his coaching staff to ponder. And this is not an easy Australian team. They're well coached by Joe Smith. Their scrum has been going well. Of course, they've got our old scrum guru and Mike Cron helping them out in the forwards. This is an opportunity for Australia if they can beat the Eden Park record and beat the All Blacks there. It sets up Perth the next week, which will be all on the line for the Bledisloe. But the All Blacks, they want to make sure they keep that unbeaten run since 94 at Eden Park safe. But this is not going to be a walkover, folks. I'm actually going to put it out there. I think Australia will come close. They'll lose narrowly, though. They have missed out on Andrew Callaway. He's picked up a calf injury, the fullback for Australia. So, unfortunately, he won't be for the Wallabies as well. So, we'll await the teams tomorrow and see what the All Black teams will look like. Also here on Huddy Sports, we also like to thank our sponsors as always, Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited, Louise Reddy of New Zealand Travel Brokers, Gavin Murphy and the team from Jen Hickton, Funeral Directors, and also EG Fresh Range Eggs, who are our sponsors this year. If you're willing to help out Huddy Sports to keep what we do free as well, we can promote you even on the Huddy Hui as well, and also on our live streams to sell you out there. But this is what help keeps Huddy Sport free for all to watch, and that's the way we want to keep it. But we still have, if we got live streams to do, still got to make sure we pay for our crew. So go over to huddysports.co.nz. You can message us through the contact form there, or email us at huddysportsnz@gmail.com, or find us on our social media pages, Instagram and Facebook. You can find us up there. So keep what we do here on Huddy Sports free for all to watch. And of course, we're just looking at the numbers of events we've covered this year on Huddy Sports. If you include the Huddy Huis, which we've done this year, 31 of those to date, and you include it with all our live streams, we currently have done 98 events or games this season. So it's been every year since Huddy Sports started in 2019, it has got bigger. We only did last year 78 events. So it's a sign that, people are wanting our services. But we want to keep it free for to watch. So if you're willing to help us out, know the drill. We just mentioned it to you all before. Well, next week, the Huddy Hui will come back next week. We're hoping to work on a guest or two for next week, episode 166. Keep an eye out on our website and our social media pages for the details for next week. Huddy Hui, and if you've got anything games coming up, it's a pretty quiet time of the year, but we've got summer sport coming up as well. But if you're interested in Huddy Sports helping to promote or cover one of your games, just head over to huddysportsnz@gmail.com or to our website, huddysports.co.nz, and to our socials on Instagram and Facebook, and we'll get back to you. Well, that has been the Huddy Hui for tonight. Many thanks for Johnny Falloon for coming on the podcast, and I am Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.
It's the Huddy Hui. You can find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. And check out huddysports.co.nz.
Blocked drains, leaky pipes, don't let plumbing problems sideline your day. Call the team, Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Mike has been our sponsor since the very beginning, from quick fixes to full renovations. He's got the tools, the team, and the know-how to get the job done right. First time, every time. Local, reliable, and always on time. That's how Mike plays the game. Find Mike Pinfold at Pinfold Plumbing at extra.co.nz 027 430 4351. Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Also Google Mike Pinfold Plumbing and let the pros handle the flow.
Hi, Gavin Murphy here
And Cassie Murphy.
from G and Higton Funeral Directors.
Don't leave it up to someone else to tell your story. Do it now when you can enjoy being part of the conversation.
With a prepaid funeral, you can have music, readings and venue all chosen by you.
For your free funeral planning pack with everything you need to get started, go to our website at gnhigton.co.nz/pre-planning.
The Huddy Hui. Huddy Sports' captivating sports show. The Huddy Hui covers Wellington Club rugby as well as other sporting topics of debate. Tune in on YouTube during the rugby playing months as host Brad Hudson interviews rugby players and other sporting personalities across the Wellington region and the rest of New Zealand. Catch the Huddy Hui streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and wherever good yarns are heard. The Huddy Hui live on Huddy Sports. Here at Huddy Sports, we love a good game plan. And when it comes to travel, our go-to is Louise Reddy from New Zealand Travel Brokers. Whether it's a sports tour, a family break, or that bucket list trip, She'll get you there stress-free with all the best deals around. She's local, she's experienced, and she backs the game like we do, and she's a great supporter of Huddy Sports. Look up Louise Reddy at louisereddy.nztravelbrokers.co.nz or email louise@louise.reddy@newzealandtravelbrokers.co.nz. Travel smart and travel like a pro. As here on Huddy Sports, we're always wanting to keep our content free on YouTube. So the idea of sponsors, we can promote you on live stream, our social media pages and our website. It's good to support the local community and helps keep Huddy Sport free for all to watch. So if you're interested to helping Huddy Sports, go to huddysports.co.nz or to our email address, huddysportsnz@gmail.com. Ciao for now.